When I was about 9 years old, my dad took us to the park. And when he took us to the park, he parked the car, and I got out of the car. I was on a narrow road, and I got out the car, and someone hit the door and took the door because I didn't pay attention. I didn't look at it before I opened the door. And my dad, says, "That's it. No one's going to the park." Took the car door, put it inside the car, drove to my neighborhood, and then made me fix the door right there on the street. That was it was the, but that gave me the incentive to know that, you don't always need to take your car to a shop to get fixed. There's certain things that you can fix on the car, in your driveway or in your neighborhood, especially if it had to do with something that was an emergency, where other people couldn't fix it or was too costly for you to fix it somewhere else. So yeah, that's where we, kind of spawned the idea as kids, me and my brother, fixing cars on the road with my dad in the freezing cold of winter, watching him do stuff and passing him wrenches. But my dad always thought we were going to work for him, in the construction industry, working with him, potentially take over the business. One of my family members did take over the business. But when I was younger, I used to think I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do R&B music. I was the lead male vocalist for an off-Broadway show. And my dad used to tell me, well, you have to know Puff Daddy in order to be as famous. And I said, well, who did Puff Daddy have to know? He was always hard on saying, you have to be the first one in and the last one out. I don't care if you got rehearsal and none of those things. So he never really encouraged us to be entrepreneurs, just to be business owners or to be in charge or to be heads of our industry, but never to go fix cars. He knew we didn't like the hard manual labor stuff, but my brother did. He loved it, and I always loved people and getting to know people and solving people's problems. So I'm very entrepreneurial in that way. Once upon a time, I thought I wanted to be a billionaire. Unbeknownst to what being a billionaire entails. But I always thought I wanted to be wealthy. I wanted to give back to my community. And I just didn't know how. I always thought I was going to be a famous singer-songwriter. I never thought I'd be a CEO running a startup, technology startup. I never thought I'd be, help the first Black Congresswoman become Congresswoman. I never thought I'd be doing any of the things that I'm doing. My career basically really started with, I don't know if any of you are familiar, but if you ever heard of GK 100, the 100 most influential people of color in Boston, the lady that started that event, I used to work for her. And she really started my career in sales and meeting people. And I always thought I was just going to be, a big VP of sales, teaching people how to sell products and services that improve people's lives. I never thought that I'd be running my own business, potentially, with an opportunity to sell at $400 million, to be a publicly traded company, to have an IPO or to have intellectual property or deal in the technology space at all. This was beyond my wildest dreams. So we started in 2017. There was no competitors by far. We looked out, there was a company called Autobots. They were bought out by a company called Wrench. Wrench started maybe a year before us. No one really knew they existed. Modern day society, we have about 6 or 7 different people popping up everywhere now. We have competitors in Europe, in the European market. We have this year, about a couple months ago, Daimler Chrysler, which is the owners of Mercedes-Benz, decided they wanted to compete. So the only way that we would be even a viable competitor or even viable in the space was to have a big name on our back, which we didn't really know until Volkswagen Group reached out to us and added us as one of their investments. So that was where we actually kind of are still in the race. It's mostly, the way the auto repair space works and the way business really works, man, is it's you grow through the people right? You grow through your network. through your family, through your friends, showing you support, you know, spreading the word for you. So we really owe all of our success to the people that are involved, right? Like our friends, people that support us, say, hey, we want to help you. Let's get you some people, let's get you some technicians, let's get you some partnerships. You know, I can never thank my friends enough for all of the help that they've, you know, given me throughout the course of, you know, my business venture. And always ask for advice. Ask as much advice you seek. Don't be afraid. I feel like I was afraid in the beginning to tell people about my venture and to get their help in an earnest way, because of fear of someone stealing my idea. But you know, ask your friends for their advice. Ask people for their advice. You will never regret it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't think you know it all. That's the biggest thing. We say, oh, we got this great idea. No one can beat me now. I know everything. It doesn't work like that. It's actually the opposite. So yeah, just get as much advice as you can. Ask your friends. Don't be afraid to ask for people's help. I know or for professional help, right? There's so many programs. It took me about a year and a half, almost 2 years before I got into Accelerator. But I didn't, you know, I didn't realize that was the way. I didn't know how to get into an accelerator. I thought it was just going to all fall into my lap because I had this great idea. And it just doesn't work like that. You know, you have to seek advice. You have to get your friends involved. There's more people in the world rooting for you than you know, right? So I know it seems like it's a dog eat dog world sometimes, but there are, you know, your peers, popular, outside of, you know, contrary to popular belief, there are people that do want to see you succeed, that want to see other people thriving. You want to see people doing good. I'm one of them per se. I want to see people successful. I want to see them doing well. I want to see people eating. It's why I pay my technicians so much. You know, I want them to be the winners of the, you know, of the pie at the end of the day.